Okay, hi, welcome to this video. So in this video, I just want to show you some of the updates I've done since. Okay, first thing first, my NuGet package is published. .NET dwSim. Okay, my NuGet package is published. You can see it's 0.03 now. It's only a few minutes after. Of course, I deleted the other key, so you won't be able to use it even if you knew it. So it's expired now, right? So next thing is that yes, I have this huge mind map of a thing, right? Let's go to README. IXml library minder. Okay, I have a huge mind map of a thing, and now the first thing I want to do is make sure that this IXmlComponent List is properly implemented. Okay, and you can properly put it into this IXmlLibraries file. Okay, so this is what I want to do. So this class1.vb won't be called class1.vb anymore. It will be IXmlLibraries. This main class will be called IXmlLibraries. Right? So because this dwSim thing is called dwSim XmlLibraries, this will be called IXmlLibraries. Okay, so that will be the interface. Okay, so let me close this. It's distracting. Okay, so yeah, so first thing first, I want to start implementing something simple. It's just this IXmlComponent List. Okay, and what will this IXmlComponent List be dependent upon? There's this IXmlLibrarySelector. Okay, IXmlLibraryList and IXmlLibraryLoader. So what I have done is to why is my mind map like not up to date? Right. Okay. I should merge. Git merge squashed. Okay, where what? Mind maps. Let's see. Squash. Okay, single commit. That's what I want. Squash. Mind map. Git stash. Git merge. Squash. Mind map. So this will update the mind map. So if you take a look now at this is an older mind map, so I needed to update the mind map. Right, so I wanted to I stopped my mind maps under another branch, so I had to merge that branch into this branch. Okay, so here is where I have the thing. I have my IXmlComponent List. Okay, so I will make a new feature branch that specifically deals with IXmlComponent List and its dependent classes. So what is dependent classes? I have IXmlLibraryLoader that I have already tested quite extensively, and IXml library list and IXmlLibrarySelector. So there will be a few folders we are making here in that feature branch. Okay, git status. Oh, I'm on the main branch. Okay, I'm on the main branch. That explains a lot. Okay, but anyway, let me show you our git checkout. Okay, I've already made some changes into this feature branch called IXmlComponent List. So git stash. Okay, I'll go to the IXmlComponent List and I will use the minder to read the file here. Okay, again it's a little bit messy, but pretty much the things are the same. I have IXmlComponent List, right? And what's the feature name? Okay, I save all the changes under IXmlComponent List branch, so I'll do that. So everything that deals with IXmlComponent List, I kind of put all the features here. Alright, this one I don't even use anymore. Alright, so I won't change the mind map here so much. I will just try to implement all the things that the mind map says. So what do I have here? I have an IXmlLibraryList file right here. So let's go to IXmlLibraryList and check out what's there. Library list. Okay. What is the job of the IXmlLibraryList? Okay, what's the job of the IXmlLibraryList? Okay, if you take a look at the mind map, okay, the job of the IXmlLibraryList, well, it inherits iDisposable. It returns you a tuple of strings, available libraries coupled with constructed objects. Okay, so first thing first, what's a tuple? Okay, tuple C#. Okay, so this is a tuple. A tuple is like a list of some sort, but it is able to hold two or more kinds of data. Okay, so in this case, the tuple here actually holds a double and an integer. Okay, but as for me, I want the tuple to hold first a string. Okay, the string will be the XML library name, and the second thing will be of the type IXml library loader. So it will be this interface type. So you can fill in whatever implementation of this interface into this tuple. Okay, and once you have this tuple, you can just use the string to select what is that IXml library, select the library from this list, and then after that you'll just you can actually get the implementation you want. Over here is dwSim brute force class. That's what will happen. So what's the output of this list? This thing will output tuple string of a list of tuples, and the tuple will contain a string, which is the name of the XML library, and the XML library, which is of type IXmlLibraryLoader. Okay, so let's vim star here to load everything. So this is my interface, which it just says return XML library list. It's a function. It just returns you a list of XML libraries. So it will be a list of, as you can see, library name as string, XML library loader as IXmlLibraryLoader. Okay, let me switch to the next file, buffer2, and this is how I implement the IXmlLibraryList. It is pretty tightly coupled, unfortunately, but otherwise it does its job. So I have a property called IXmlLibraryList, which is a list of library name string library loader. Okay, here is the constructor, sub new blah blah blah. Okay, so firstly I instantiate the list. So this is me, which is the instance of this class. Me XmlLibraryList equals to new list of library name XML library loader blah blah blah. Okay, then I use the add library function to add this tuple. So the tuple here will be dwSim, and then the XML library object will be a new instance of the dwSim XML library brute force implementation. Okay, what does the library thing look like? Okay, the library class is right here. Alright, library class is right here. Okay, library class is here. So the library will take in two values, a library name and an XML library loader. Okay, the next thing it does is that it will load them into a tuple. Okay, so I define the tuple as library name string XML library loader. Okay, the tuple name, library name will be this library name. Tuple XML library loader will be this XML library loader. As you will note, this Visual Basic is not exactly case sensitive, so it's pretty forgiving in that regard. Okay, because you see the library name here is in lowercase, library name here is in uppercase. I should of course make them lowercase if possible, but Visual Basic is very forgiving in that regard. You don't have to really worry about uppercase, lowercase as much as C#. That's one nice thing about Visual Basic. But I still prefer C#, to be honest. It's more modern. Okay, and of course most of the documentation is for C# rather than Visual Basic. Okay, so tuple XML library loader is XML library loader. Then I'll take this list here, and then I'll add the tuple. Okay, when I return the XML library list, I will just return the XML library list, which is right here. Okay, of course if you want to be very specific, you can put the me keyword in front, but you don't really have to return the me keyword because they Visual Basic will already know that this XML library list will refer to this property if you did not specify any, if you did not define any other variable locally within this function. So this is how the library list works, and every time there is a new library right here, I can just so-called add the code into the constructor, and you'll just keep making the list longer and longer. Okay, so of course this kind of violates the open close principle, but yeah, it means I want it open to extension, close to modification. So next time I have basically to add new functionality, I should not be changing this class anymore. What I should do is, what I will do next time is I'll make a new implementation of this class. Instead of IXmlLibraryList May 2022, for example, I will change it to IXmlLibraryList, then I'll put the month and the year down there. Alright, so this is how I will extend the list. If I have a new library, for example, ChemSep or whatever, or some new XML file that I want to add in later, I will just okay, pretend of course that I've already done all the implementation work here, all the hard work here. Okay, once that's done, I will just make a new class. I will just make a new class called IXmlLibraryList month and date. Then I will just copy this whole class, and then I will just add a new line under here saying, oh, I have a add library, I want a ChemSep library, and then I'll do a ChemSep implementation, for example. Right, so that's how I will plan to use this IXmlLibraryList. Okay, have I tested it? Of course. Okay, I actually tested it already. It's kind of a very crude test. Alright, it says check if selected library list is correct versus manual code. That means I will actually load the list of libraries manually, and then I will compare it against this list of tuples, right? So okay, how do I do that? So go to unit test, and I made a new test called unit test IXmlLibraryList.vb. So this is where I do it. I use a fact test because I just want to keep things simple. Okay, I made a new tuple. Okay, I made a reference list, and I made a result list. Okay, so I made the reference list, I made a tuple of the reference list pretty much like that, and then yeah, I made the reference list like that. So I made a new tuple, okay, dim tuple as library name, blah blah blah. I made a reference list variable, I made a result list variable. So this is the setup part of the test. Okay, the library name is called dwSim. The XML library loader will be a new instance of this dwSim XML library brute force, and the reference list will be this new list of blah blah blah. So I'm instantiating a new list. Okay, so this reference list, I will add the tuple, and I'll do console write line of this reference list. Okay, which again, I think I can't violate my own rule of thumb, because as far as possible, don't write console write line here. Okay, so this is the console write line here. I should actually comment this out. 12 up, word insert comment. But this is, of course, if you want to debug, it's very good to do that. Okay, so I have a sub here called test list and tuple. So this was me just testing things out to see how this works. And of course, once I'm done, I just comment this fact part out. You can actually delete that later. It may be good practice to do so, but in case you want to see how lists work, it will be good to leave it there. Alright, so I add the tuple to it, and then I make a new XML list object as IXmlLibraryList. I instantiate the class, and then I return my result list from this function right here. And you already saw how it works. Okay. Okay, let's see. I want to open. It's quick. Okay, let's put nerd tree. Up a directory. Let's go to netcore, IXml library lists. Okay, I'll show you again just to remind you what the thing looks like. Quit here. Go down. Forward. Yeah. So this part is the part where we add library, and to return the library list, we just return the XML library list. Okay, of course, I do the dispose thing over here to actually delete all the libraries. For example, the library name I will set to nothing. I will dispose of the XML library loader, then I will set the library loader variable to nothing. So this actually frees up memory. So this is a method I kind of want to test as well. Okay, 18 down. So insert, open new line. IXmlLibraryList object.dispose. Okay, I want to make sure this thing works. Okay, so this actually frees up the memory once it's done. But I wanted to assert equal. Okay, in my original test, I wanted to assert equal my result list and my reference list. Okay, unfortunately, I cannot do that because both of these things are not exactly equatable. You cannot equate one library, one X document to another because, yeah, you cannot equate one list to another. It is just not the same. Okay, it's not the same. So, yeah, that's a difficult thing. You cannot equate one list of thing to another, but you can equate the types. Okay, so this is a very crude way of testing. It's not the best way, but at least it shows that the types are the same. It gets you halfway there, but it doesn't really do the full job. Okay, so let me run .NET test to see whether this thing works. Okay, so the test passed. So all the code here runs properly. Good thing. Thank God. So yeah, the code actually works. So this is already this part of the IXml library list. Next part will be this IXmlLibrarySelector. Okay, what it takes in is this desired library, which is a string. The output will be the concrete class of IXmlLibraryLoader. So what this thing does is that it cycles through the list, and then let's say you want the dwSim library. You supply the dwSim library as a string, and this thing is just supposed to supply you this class. Okay, the IXmlLibraryLoader. So this is just for in case there are so many libraries that we want to select from. This IXmlLibrarySelector will help us do that. Okay. So the IXmlLibrarySelector is here. Okay. How am I supposed to code? Okay, maybe I'll do that next time. I have a very bad habit, not so good habit, or maybe I personally don't like it when videos are too long, but I myself find that I'm making too many long videos. Yeah. Okay, so I will stop for now. I will maybe talk about the IXmlLibrarySelector next time. Okay, which it takes in a string file, and then it kind of gives you the IXmlLibraryLoader file. Okay, the dependencies will only be this IXmlLibraryList, which apparently here I did not put down. I just drew a line straight here, which is not good practice. I should put the interface name there, so it's actually at least clearer. So maybe I just got lost too in the mind map. But that is it for today. I will not talk about this anymore, but yeah, IXmlLibrarySelector will be here, and you'll find that when I use a list of tuples, it's very, very nicely fitting for open-close principle. You'll see why later. Okay, but next time I will see you again. Bye bye.